analysis before developing a teaching model? And what factors influence your instructional design decisions?
Okay, actually, that's a good question for me, so I will answer a question. Like, needs analysis is conducted by gathering information about learner through tools such as questionnaires, interviews, diagnostic tests, and curriculum review. This helps identify students' proficiency levels, learning goals, interests, and challenges in the learning context. The instructional design's decisions are influenced by the results of the needs analysis, including learners' characteristics, curriculum objectives, classroom resources, and assessment requirements. By considering these factors, the teaching model can be more relevant, effective, and aligned with students' needs.
Oh, okay. I understand about your answer. So, what do you think, guys?
Oh, I agree with that. Actually,
Yes,
yeah.
me too. And so, how about you, Erika?
Yeah.
How do the learner's needs and learning context influence the decisions you make when designing a teaching model?
For me, you know that learners' needs and the learning context directly shape almost every decision I make when designing a teaching model. From the start, I always start by looking at what the learners actually need. For example, the language level, the skills they struggle with, and the goals they want to achieve. These needs help me decide which the content to include, what activity to use, and how challenging the task should be. The learning context also plays a huge role. Things like class size, available time, learning environment, and resources determine whether I choose more interactive activity, individual work, or technology-based tasks. I mean, like for example, if the class has limited resources, I simplify the material. If the class is large, I design activity that are easy to manage the student. So in short, learners' needs guide the focus of the content, while the learning context guide the practically what is actually possible and effective in that specific teaching situation. That's what I talk about, like decision to make teaching design the module.
I understand.
Yeah, it's about me. So I want to ask you, Nabila, about the teaching module. Yeah, how do you evaluate which teaching strategy are most effective for the topic you are designing, and what criteria do you use for that?
So, I evaluate the effectiveness of teaching strategy in my learning module by checking how well they match in the learning objective and the student needs and the competencies written in CP and ATP. The first one, I make sure the strategies support the goal of the lesson. And then I see if the strategy is suitable for different types of learners because students have different abilities and interests. So I also look at how active and engaged the student during the learning process. And next, I check whether the learning result can be measured clearly through assessment. I also think about the time, tools, and resources needed to use the strategy to make sure it's possible to use in class. And finally, I consider whether the strategy help increase student motivation and makes them more independent in learning.
Wow, that's a good idea to evaluate the teaching module. Maybe, Nella, do you want to ask a question? Yeah, that's actually a good question by you, and then a good answer too by Nabila. So I would like to give my question to Miftah then. So
Okay.
Miftah, in your opinion, which part of the teaching model is the most helpful for the teacher in conducting the lesson? What's your opinion about that?
Okay, I'll answer Naila's question. For most teachers, the learning activities section is the real game uh, changers. This part acts like a roadmap. It tells you how to start the lesson, what steps to follow during the main activities, and how to close the class. Without it, even good plan can feel messy. The learning activities break the lesson into clear stages so teachers know actually where they are going and how to guide students there. It helps packing, keep the lesson organized, and make sure the goals are actually reset. So Yeah, it's the part that turns planning into real, smooth teaching. Okay, I think that's my answer.
Yeah, actually, your answer
it's
is
good.
really
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
You know, like when you conduct something, you said the part is the most helpful for teaching model. It's really well organized by you. You have a good plan for that one. So I think that's a very good answer. And then, guys, look, that's a very good discussion for us. That's very fun.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's
engaging,
fun.
and then
Yeah.
also I
So,
really
but
like your insightful
yeah,
mindset for this. You have such a good answer that we can discuss for our future goals and our future lesson plan for that one. Yeah,
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
it's about that.
That's
Okay.